Okay, it has started. Nice. I made announcements as well. I'm always copy pasting and forward the announcement so I don't have to write it in the last minute. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. I'm on wired connection. Okay, nice. Okay, let me see. Okay, I will move my hands to see if it's not laggy. A bit, yeah. We have to wait like, I guess, 1 minute. I'm not sure why it's setting up so hard. Like, it never happened to me before. Like I said, before earlier, like it happened to me like from last week, but I'm not sure why. Okay. Okay, if anyone arrived to the stream, please let me know if there is a lag in our camera or in our voice, okay? Hölgyek, urak, hogyha látjátok a streamet, kérlek szépen titeket, hogy írjátok meg, hogy van-e minimális lag, jó? Hogyha bármi van, akkor kérlek szépen titeket szóljatok, oké? Rysten, szia neked is. Jó a hang? Jó a képminőség is? Nem laggol semmi? Hogyha mozgatom a kezem, akkor... So if I'm moving my hands, is there a lag or anything? Let me know, please. We'll wait 1 or 2 minutes. And yeah. No lag? Okay. Jó a hang, kép, minden patika. Okay, they are saying it's okay. Okay, let's wait 1 minute. So everyone will join who would want it to. And yeah. Yeah. It's fine. Nice. Thank you, Lilium Lady. Thank you. Okay. By the way, before we start, would you like to answer some community-oriented questions at the end of our stream? Because I'm always asking.
Yeah, why not? Of course.
Thank you. Okay, so at the end of our stream, our interview, guys and girls, or girls and guys, if any of you would like to ask any question, feel free to do that. But like I said, it's at the end, so yeah. Okay, so last minute checkup or checking if the quality is fine. So the voice and the quality of the video of our camera is fine. Both of our cameras are fine. No lag, zero lag. No frame rate issues. Right? Jó minden, ugye? Rájszter nálad is. Hopefully. Everything will be fine. Okay. Okay, I think that we should start. People will join in if they are here. Everything's all right. Nice. Okay, so yeah, let's start. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm Remulto, and this is Dev Life newest episode. I'm here with our today's guest, Benjamin, who is the developer of Rainbow Cotton. And I'm very honored and very thankful that you have accepted my request for today's interview. And yeah, let's start our whole interview with a little bit of introduction. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Benny or Benjamin. I'm a developer at a little company called Kritzelkratz 3000 or Kritzelkratz 3000 in Würzburg, Germany. And for like the last year about we around the last year we made the remake of Rainbow Cotton, which I don't know if you already played it, but you probably will.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. And I'm mainly a gameplay programmer.
Okay.
But since we are a small team, I also sometimes do stuff like little game designs or achievement designs or stuff like that. But my main job is programming and yeah, gameplay programming.
I see. Thank you for that. And so first thing first, let me ask you how or what was your first contact with video games? Like, what was your very first contact? And if you remember your very first video games, what were those?
Yeah, my very first video game I can remember is far in the past,
Okay.
because my dad used to still plays
Okay.
a bit of video games, but he used to play way more, and had an old Amiga system.
I see.
And as a small child, I used to play some games on that, like Lemmings,
Lemmings. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
one of my, probably because of the nostalgia, but one of my favorite games, it's called Rodland. It's a very simple and unknown game, but
I
it
see.
was perfect for children, and I, yeah, enjoyed playing it with, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years. So probably never got anything done in that game, but it made fun anyway. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's the
yeah,
whole point of games. I mean, fun, having fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, that's right, and that's how I started playing games with like 4 or 5 years old, and kept going till now, and even making them.
I see.
Yeah.
And what was the point of your life or in your life when you realized that you not just want to play games, but you would like to make them as a developer?
Mm, I actually, very early in my life, I recognized that I want to do something as a job that has to do with video
I
games.
see.
I always watched like different YouTubers that played games, but also YouTubers that analyzed games,
Oh,
and
I see.
maybe even made in-depth stuff about games.
I see.
That's why firstly I thought, oh, maybe I'd going to be a game journalist. But after a bit of, yeah, information research about that job, I thought, okay, probably it would be better to just make the games and not report about them.
I see.
So I then thought about doing it more on the hardware side.
Hmm.
That's why I first made an apprenticeship as an I don't know what's it. It's a like electrician for computer hardware and stuff like that.
I see. I see.
And but I then realized that the hardware stuff is a bit more challenging because it's not that unforgivable like programming,
Hmm.
and that's why I then switched and studied. It's called audiovisual media, where we made all sort of stuff regarding computer animations, film
I
industry,
see.
and video games. And yeah, then I didn't really knew what I wanted to do exactly, because video game development, or in general like film and animation stuff, is a huge field, and there's so
Yeah.
much you can do, and there's so much that even yeah, that like collides with itself. So I wasn't quite sure in which direction I wanted to go,
I see.
but after I did my what's it called? Like my 6 month internship here
Oh,
at
okay.
Kritzelkratz, I knew that programming would be the best fit for me, because my skills and my thinking was the best for programming,
I
and
see.
not like 3D artist stuff, for example, because I tried that out too, but I'm not that good in my eye isn't that good in art stuff. So I thought it would be better to programming and yeah, do stuff like that.
I see. And
That's how I got here.
were you thinking like to make your very own game at any point of your life?
Yeah, as oftentimes I think about doing stuff like that,
I
and
see.
I often talked with a lot of people about that, because at my university there was this philosophy that you should do stuff that you want to do.
I
So
see.
there was many encouragement and even special departments to support you when you want to do stuff like that. They even have a startup center
I see.
that pushes you to do stuff like that. So we already made some small games, or also bigger games in our university,
I see.
at our university, but we never I never made one by myself,
Oh, I see.
so it was always in a group. And I once started a prototype, but as many people I know, I just let it go because I don't know. It's always hard to keep going and polish stuff because polishing is very tough and most of the time not the most fun part because the fun parts are often to try out
Create stuff, I
stuff
guess.
and create
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
right? Yeah, and not like searching 2 hours in the code and
Yeah, that we were discussing before. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
fixing bugs or polishing some
I see.
calculations or stuff like that. Yeah,
And
so that's
is
my.
like making your own games still in your future plans? Like you're still planning to do that at some point of your future life?
At some point, surely, because
I see.
what I really like here, as I already told, we're a small team, so
Hmm.
it's like we're like 8 persons that are here all the time, and we have 2 internships right now.
I see.
So there isn't much a of a real yeah department or stuff like that.
I see.
So um, I'm already doing stuff that
That you
I
like
love
to
to
do.
do.
Yeah, I
So
got you. I got you.
and
Yeah.
that aren't only like someone tells me
Yeah,
you
I
have
feel you. I
to
feel.
do
Yeah.
that or do that. So
Yeah.
I do that. So then often I say, hey, what about this mechanic works like that, or
Yeah.
how
I
about
see.
that achievement works like that, or how about that UI looks like that. So it's already that I'm not only programming but rather already a bit of developing, all developing myself. So that's why I right now really love it here. But I can imagine, of course, maybe in I don't know when I'm a big pro in programming and can like in at midnight in my sleep I program the best code in 5 minutes, like our senior developer. Maybe I'll then check out if it wouldn't be a cool thing to really do it completely by myself, to completely,
I see.
yeah, only develop the stuff I think could be the best and don't make any like, um, yeah, um, arrangements. Yeah.
I see. I see. So, going back to your childhood a bit. So, how do you feel about your childhood? What other things has been influencing your whole career in the video game industry from your childhood? Because I think, in my opinion, at least, childhood is a very important stage of everyone's life, and it's very interesting always to hear from people about their childhood. So, what? How do you feel about your childhood? How it influenced your whole career and loving video games?
It influenced it in a way that I'm already yeah, how should I say it? It's quite hard for me right now to really enjoy new games because
Okay.
in my childhood there was so much different stuff around. I mean,
Okay.
I'm 27 now. In a month, I'll be 28. So my childhood was from around 2000 to
Yeah.
2014,
The golden era
about
of
that.
video games, we could say.
And yeah, and there was so much different stuff going on in video game industry. There was not that much explanation needed for many game mechanics. There was not
Yeah.
that much story in games. There was often just arcade stuff that somehow was so much fun. I mean, Crazy Taxi doesn't have a, I mean, there is no story in that game, literally. So,
Yeah.
but it's so fun to I don't know to
And we
drive
still
around
remember
with
those games,
taxi.
so they worked
Yeah,
out
right.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so that's what influenced me the most.
I
That
see.
I don't want to explain every mechanic that is
Yeah.
there. I don't need to have the most realistic game or the most um, Unreal Engine 5 looking
Yeah.
game that looks like
Yeah.
it's
Like you're
reality or
seeing
stuff like that.
every hair of
Yeah,
a
like every
character,
hair.
every skin tone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I got you. I got you.
for me, it's important that a game just makes fun. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to explain everything,
I see.
but it has to make fun. And if that's the point, then I'm fine with it. Then I
I see.
don't. Yeah, I'm not negative about it or something like that. So I mean, of course, when you have games like Last of Us that make fun and have a great story and stuff like that, that's of course brilliant. But making those games is incredibly hard. So
Yeah,
they,
you have
yeah,
to find the balance between the arts, the story, the gameplay, and the fun part, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. And have you been revisiting any old school era games recently that you loved playing as a kid?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 months ago, more like 3 months ago, I actually played through all of the Ratchet and Clank
Oh,
games
nice.
again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
because I've never played the last title for the PS3. I think it's called Into the Nexus or Nexus.
I
I'm not
see.
quite
Yeah.
sure. But I loved all the Ratchet and Clank games as a kid, but never played that one. And
I
then
see.
I bought that one because I was like, okay, nice. There's one that I never played, and because of that, I replayed all of them.
Nice.
And it was a real fun time.
Yeah,
And
those are
I'm
great
really sad.
games. We hopefully there
Yeah,
will be
those
a
are really
new
great
part
games.
of that franchise as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really sad when I read about the leak. I hope it's not true, but there was like this leak from Insomniac that the next title won't come out until I think
Oh
2029. So I
yeah.
have to
Yeah.
wait 5 more years, and
Yeah.
that's pretty sad because, yeah, I replayed Drift Apart and completed it 100% because
Yeah, industry has
it's so
changed a
fun.
lot because I feel like it takes more time to make these bigger games, but I also feel like the whole like marketing stuff about releasing informations about games has changed. I remember when I was a kid, like we were always watching E3 with my friends and with my parents as well, and it was so, making up the hype for games, and we did not
Yeah,
have to wait for a gameplay trailer to be revealed like for 5 years. There was like always like first trailer, gameplay trailer, launch trailer, and the game has been released. Now we are getting
yeah,
artworks from a game, and we have to wait like 5 more years for a trailer, and then a gameplay trailer, and then a release date
and
trailer.
then,
So it's like, I don't know. So it's weird. It's weird, but I
and then it
guess,
even gets delayed. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So it's getting weirder and weirder these days about the marketing and the process of developing games, I
yeah,
guess.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's very tough right now,
yeah.
or for the last 2 or 3 years. It's everyone wants to do their own thing.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
wants
And
to, yeah,
yeah, like you said, I think that I totally agree with you on that point that that nowadays I feel like the market is very stuffed with games, like very stacked with games. Everyone would like to make a game, which is not a problem, I mean, which is great, but yeah, it's very hard, to find the balance between or next to other games and to really market up your game and to build up the hype so people will know about your game. And I had a discussion with a lot of developers and players as well that it's very hard to get the recognition for the games because I feel like the market and the media has changed in a way like nowadays YouTubers and streamers promote the games more likely, and it's way harder, and way more expensive to use like flyers or these little journals
mm.
with which they used to promote games back like in 10 or 15 years or 20 years. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so
It
no,
was
go
funny
for it.
because I have a PS1 in my room, and I even found an old demo CD like I don't know 2 months
Yeah,
ago or so, and
exactly. I
that was
miss
a thing.
those
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And also like with the physical editions, they always like brought some manuals,
yeah,
till the
right, yeah,
PS3 era. And then when the PS4 has been released, they stopped doing that because they
yeah.
said that
There
it's
was only most of the
yeah.
time it was empty. Sometimes there
Yeah,
was
or
a
they did it with the
download folder.
collector's edition of the or the deluxe
Yeah,
editions with the games. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, but yeah, that's how it is, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question would be: is Rainbow Cotton your biggest game that you have been working on? What games have you been working on next to Rainbow Cotton?
Rainbow Cotton is the first really I'd say, professional game
Okay.
I've been working on. So
Okay.
I've been working on some student projects already.
Okay.
We even launched one on Steam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was not the first title that I released officially on a platform,
Okay.
but it was the first really professional title with like structure and even money involved. So
I see.
it was a different dimension, I'd say.
I see.
It was also way harder to not clockwise or hour-wise, but just for the quality aspects and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say I'd enjoyed it as much as the other projects as well. So
I see.
yeah.
Okay. And so when designing a remake, how did the developers as a team like decided to focus on this game, on this actual game to make a remake of? Like, what's the process or the idea behind making a remake of a game? Like, because I feel like throughout the industry we had a lot of remakes, and they always prepared the franchise for a new sequel or to a next episode of the franchise. Was the idea like some kind of similar behind Rainbow Cartoon remake, or was the influence
Um,
behind that?
the influence is pretty simple. Our senior developer,
Okay.
Andreas, has a passion for old games,
Okay.
and in his free time, he already ports old games so you can
Okay.
play them again.
Okay.
And with that idea in mind, he went to our publisher,
Okay.
Inin and United Games, and asked them what if they have something
Oh,
to
okay.
offer, and they were like, yeah, maybe we have something, maybe we can do this, that, and that, and in the very end, we decided to do the remake of Rainbow Cotton
I
because
see.
it never released in Europe.
Yeah.
It only released in Japan.
Japan. Yeah, if
So
I'm correct. Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. So yeah, that was the influence and the thought about doing that for Rainbow Cotton to bring it to a wider audience, to have more people play it and even know it because um, I didn't know about it. And before the release, if you googled Rainbow Cotton, there was like cotton for like I don't know what's it called, but actual wool in rainbow colors. So yeah,
So it was
it's
totally different thing.
yeah, it was a total different
Yeah,
thing here. So yeah, that was the main reason to make the remake of it.
I see. I see. And how do you feel about like uh, the market? Because I feel like the market needs now to have Japanese games out in Europe and in America as well. But how do you feel about it? Like, what's your opinion about that? Do you
Yeah,
think it's important to have the Japanese culture out of their territory
I
for
think
Europeans?
it's in the video game industry there can't be enough cultures or influences.
Okay.
I think um, if you're looking at the famous example like Dragon's Dogma 2 that does many things other than classic Western RPG would have done it. I think you can see that we can learn from them
True.
surely as
True.
much as they from us. So having influence from there, having new games from Japan or generally Asia is definitely great. I think. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, so as far as I know, there is a very good like balance between the cutscenes in the remake and the gameplay. So when designing the balance, the actual balance between these awesome cutscenes and the real shooter gameplay, what was the idea? Like, how many cutscenes should be in the game and how many gameplay elements? Like, how did you balance that? Or
Actually, we didn't have to balance that
oh, okay.
because we got all that from the original
Also, there was no
game.
change, like you did not have to change anything.
Right, yeah, we didn't have
Oh,
to add
okay, okay,
anything
okay.
or cut
Oh,
anything.
okay,
It
okay,
was
okay.
it was great as it was, so
Oh,
we
okay,
could
okay,
have
okay.
just we just took it and upscaled it and made it looking better and
I
stuff like
see,
that.
I see, I see, I
And
see, I see,
yeah,
I see, I see. I
and
thought
then
that
it was,
there were like changes because as a remake, of course, it's like being made usually from the ground up, and I thought that there were like new cutscenes or something like that. I see, I see. Okay, okay.
yeah,
So there were
in
no
theory, yeah.
changes
But
at all.
there to that there was no
Oh,
changes, no.
okay, 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 okay.
Only gameplay wise
I
and
see,
from the graphics, yeah.
I see.
But story
And
and cutscenes.
okay. And as for the gameplay part, have you twigged the difficulty to the original one, or have
We I can't really tell if it's harder or more easy,
okay,
but we definitely made a lot of changes.
okay,
So there was, for example, the control of Cotton was terrible in the original
I see.
because she always kept going back into the middle if you let the stick go.
Oh, okay.
So you had to somehow always press right, tap right, so she stayed there where you maybe wanted her to, and stuff like that. So we changed a lot, or we changed magic damage. We changed the lock mechanic that was also a bit buggy in the original. So there was a lot of changes that we made that, of course, changed the overall experience
I
and
see.
the overall difficulty. But from the base stats like enemy health, cotton health, and stuff like that, we didn't change that much. So it was not like we changed every enemy and every, I don't know, interaction, but just tweaked it some at some points. For like, for example, I think the first boss had more life. Ah, no, the first mini boss. One of the first mini bosses had more life than the actual boss of that stage and stuff like that. We tweaked a bit around, so it felt a bit more, yeah, meaningful because having more health on a mini boss than on the actual stage boss felt weird. Yeah.
I see. See. And we were talking about earlier that you are more into like harder games, which are not, keeping your hands and telling what to do. So do you feel like nowadays a lot of games got a lot easier, and how do you feel about that? Is it a very much of a problem, or how do you feel about that?
I'd not say it's a problem.
Okay.
I mean, it's a different philosophy, I would say. I
Okay.
wouldn't say it's directly a problem.
Okay.
For me personally, I play more like Souls likes or
Hardcore games, you could say.
yeah, you could say hardcore games
Okay.
like that. So that's why we also didn't flush out Rainbow Cotton, ease out
Ease
Rainbow
out.
Cotton, and
I see. I
like
see.
just made it for everyone like that. But if you want to reach, of course, if you want to reach a higher audience, you have to
Uh-huh.
give them the possibility to play through the game. And if I think if you have enough development time, then you could do that to every game in a different kind of settings. I mean, of course, it's always a developer's choice how hard I want to make my game, but I'd say if you'd have the time, you could greatly balance out the
Yeah,
all
I
games
totally
to
agree with you.
be playable by nearly every audience.
Yeah, I
So
agree with you. Yeah.
it's often yeah, something like that, like the development time. I mean, the first if you speak about it, the first Ratchet and Clank had the difficulty setting automatically integrated that they automatically spawn more ammo and more life
Yeah.
if you die more often. I mean, stuff like that you could implement it in different games, but it's all time consuming, it's all
Yeah,
balancing,
exactly.
it's all tough. So yeah, you have to make a cut somewhere. So
And
often
I
it's
guess
that
it's
you
not
yeah.
always the priority of developers
Yeah,
to,
right,
yeah,
right.
or the
Because
development process
normally,
at least. Yeah.
yeah, right. Because normally you have the audience you want to address the game to,
Yeah.
and you hope that you, have a good fan base there, and they like the game. And if you then get another fan base, is oftentimes not that important. Yeah.
I see. And what are your favorite moments about like your whole career, and also by developing Rainbow Cotton? Like, what are your favorite moments? so
Favorite
far?
moments is a tough. I always remember. Probably I'll always remember one time in my, yeah, as you say, career. That was in my third or second year. I don't know
Okay,
exactly at university, where for the first time I went to my first lecture that was about 3D animation. And I sat there the first time completely. Yeah, how would I say it? I wanted to be there. It was not like that. I said, "Oh, God damn it, I have to be here."
I see.
I just stayed there and was there and asked the prof different stuff and what. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and that was the first moment where I was like, okay, that's the right path where I'm going. And a little bit of highlight every time I have to say, even though it's not everyday my everyday job, but to boot up a PS5 or a Switch and just test the game is always a kind of surreal but great feel to know, okay, somehow I'm getting paid to, yeah, boot up a PS5 and play a game.
I
And
see, and I totally
yeah,
get
that's,
you. Get your point. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's always a bit surreal because during the studying, there was often times that I thought, okay, it makes fun, but I'm not getting paid, so I had to
okay.
go to the supermarket and work there to get my money, or don't
Were
know.
there times where you wanted to give up and you had some fears or fear in your life that you're or you are not going to make it as a developer?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I'm generally more of a type of a guy that has sometimes the thought that he can't do stuff.
Okay.
Like
And how did you
maybe
manage
maybe
those times? How could you like step forward from those times? Like what motivated you at those times of your life or those moments?
mm, I don't actually know what exactly motivated me,
Okay.
but often I just said, okay, I doing nothing isn't the right way.
Okay.
So because if I don't try it, it can't. I know I'll
You will
fail
never know.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll never know. So I just started and
I see.
tried it out. And what me personally helped a lot was trying to talk to people, find people
I see.
that made the same mistakes, maybe the same
I
experiences,
see.
that had more experience, like my profs or like other students, but that.
Were they supportive to you, by the way?
Yeah, yeah, they
Okay.
were in my environment. I had very supportive people. That was,
That's nice.
oh,
That's very important
yeah,
in my
that's
opinion.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
real, it's huge help
Yeah,
because
sure.
often when you have like something doesn't work or you are in doubt if it's good what you're doing or stuff like that, it's always incredible to have people that are like, yeah,
Yeah.
let me help you, let me
I
see,
totally
let me
agree with you.
show it to me, let me play it
Yeah.
for, I don't know, 10 minutes or stuff like that. Yeah, so that helped a lot, of course. Yeah.
I see. I see. Okay. And what's okay, we were talking about favorite memories. What were the like worst memories? Or you are not happy about those
Yeah,
memories?
worst memories, good question. Um, well, I had a tough time while I wrote my bachelor thesis, but I think
Okay.
that is everyone. That was really, really
What
hard.
was your topic?
I made it was actually about rainbow cotton
Oh, nice. Okay.
because, yeah,
Okay,
because
nice.
for to get the original data, we had to like extract that.
Okay.
And I made an converter, data converter
Okay.
in Unity
Okay.
for that, and that was my bachelor thesis. That yeah, I
Okay.
had to write that converter, and while programming, it was tough, but it was even tougher to write down like 60 pages of technical stuff
Okay,
and
that's a lot.
research. And yeah, that was, and yeah, that was probably the worst experience in the last few years, because besides that, I have to say it more or less works everything out. Like yeah, some tasks aren't that great than others,
I
but
see.
yeah, nothing is shit, I'd say.
Nice, nice. I'm glad to hear that you're happy
Yeah,
with what you are
yeah,
doing right
absolutely, yeah.
now. Yeah. Okay. And okay, so yeah. What games or what genres do you think are working the best for you, like to play and also as a developer, like developing games,
Mm,
or what type of
playing
games?
is yeah. Playing is pretty simple because I'm a very enthusiastic explorer. So
Okay,
that's also a bit of a downer in the industry today because everything gets spoiled right up. That's it's incredibly hard for me to really enjoy and play a game because I only really enjoy a game if I know nearly nothing
I
from
see,
it.
I see.
So
So
I
you are not
always
even
try.
watching like trailers of games?
Yeah, not at all,
Oh,
not at
okay,
all.
I see, I see, I see.
Not even like the shortest story description and stuff
Okay,
like that.
okay,
Seriously want to just go blind in and see
I
what's
see,
happening.
I
And
see.
if I finish it and I read a comment on I don't know any video of it, and the first comment is like, "Oh yeah, I really like doing that," and I did it all the time, and I was like, "Okay, I never did that." So and it's okay for me because I don't need to have like the best build in game or the best
Yeah,
path or I don't know be the fastest or stuff like that. I just like to have my
have
really
fun.
own
Okay.
experience to play it the way I think I should play it and
Yeah,
it should be played and see if it's that what the developers intended. And because that's also one thing I learned as a developer, and that's why I think that going in that direction as a developer is quite good because
I see.
or if the people like that too, then it's a part that I can definitely achieve and program good or design good
I see.
because yeah I know that feeling to have yeah to don't want to know anything and just explore and hopefully get the right way because often today um, games are so bloated up. They have insane amount of quests, mechanics, and stuff like that, weapons, armors, secrets, more or less. So, yeah, having nothing of that spoiled. So I really explore everything
I
and
see.
look up for everything. That's what I really like in genres, and that's what I try to also
Search.
bring in like games
I see.
that I make or that I'm part of.
I see.
So yeah, at the end of the day, it's not like I don't know, like a Super Mario where everything just is standing there as a text and says, yeah, you do that, do that, do that. And on the other hand, I also have to say Souls likes are often tough, tough bricks because they tell you nothing. So that's on the other hand sometimes a bit frustrating.
I see.
Um, but yeah, a mix of that, like having not everything told, but enough so you're not frustrated.
I see. I
That's
see.
I think a good good balance
It's
for me.
interesting that you were saying that because, like, I feel like even that a lot of games have a lot of options, people can judge other players by like not doing the meta, if you could say so, like not using like the meta builds, like you were telling
Yeah.
us. And it's so weird. Like, come on, we play as players should really like enjoy our time and being us and letting the developers see our build and not playing
Yeah, yeah,
by
right.
others builds. So it's like I have a very recent memory, like 1 year ago when I was playing an expansion of Destiny 2, and some people came into my stream and they were telling me not to use this build, but that build that they were using, and I was like, okay, but why? I put my money on the table to buy the expansion for the game, and I should know what I would like to do in the game, even if I fail. You know, it's a
Yeah.
step forward for me. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why I stopped playing online nearly every online game, every competitive online game,
Okay,
because I got really got bored from having like I started Magic or Hearthstone some years
I
ago,
see.
but all you do is trying to get one of the good decks and then you try to win with them. It's not like exploring decks anymore. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm just too
yeah.
stupid. I don't know, but
No, I think
most of
like
the times it's so yeah maxed out.
I
There are
think
so many
like
people.
I think like the truth behind that is like most of the people are using meta in games, in most of the games, because like they would like to get good in a very fast
Mm.
way. But I feel like the real professionals who are putting their time into a multiplayer game are those who like take their time to experiment with the game, like you were saying. But yeah, like we were discussing it, you need to have a lot of time for that. So it's
Yeah,
not for
right. Yeah.
it will not work out for everyone, because of course we have our jobs, our everyday life. So yeah, it's hard to like find the balance between that. I feel like people are judging others by like, I don't know why. We are people, we are humans, so we do that on an everyday level. So yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so how do you feel about the opinions of players on games as a developer? So is it important to you to see like the opinions of the players, or not that much, or something in between?
It's of course the feedback and the stuff people tell about or the fans tell
Okay,
about the game or after release give feedback and say stuff is always important because you always learn something about that and you can learn if the mechanics you developed are yeah as good as you want them to be.
okay,
But also the truth you have to tell is that of course you have to sort out some critics because sometimes stuff is criticized that maybe you already know that could be not the best part of the game.
I
So you're
see,
like, okay, yeah, I don't know. For example, that animation isn't the best or stuff like
I
that. Of
see.
course, I know that, but it was no time we had to release the game, stuff like so. For example, something like that. So it's important to get the critics and it's important to get feedback because that's only the only way you know that maybe next time you can how you can do it better. But yeah, you have to focus on the correct one and sort out stuff that you maybe already know, but you hadn't the time to fix it, or maybe that was even intentional, but it seems like that the or that the player wasn't the right audience or had different expectations of the game. I mean, if you buy Stardew Valley and you expect a Call of Duty, then of course you won't like it. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Is it stressful to sort out these situations, by the way, at your everyday life as a developer?
Mm, well, we're not that big, so we're not getting that that many
Okay.
critics or
But
feedback.
even I
But
mean,
even
even if
yeah,
you get like, is it
yeah,
hard
yeah.
to
Even
sort
if you
out,
get,
or is it stressful for you?
mm, it's
Or do you
it
handle it as a
depends.
team,
Yeah.
or not just a team, but yourself as well? How do you feel about it as a team and also yourself?
Yeah, sometimes it depends on what you're reading. Sometimes
Okay,
you can totally understand the critics,
okay,
and you're then like, yeah, okay, I know that, and okay, yeah, that makes sense. So
I see.
next time I'll think about that. But sometimes it's hard to accept what's written when you like, okay, but that was not what we expected you to do, or that was never the intention to include, or I can't understand why you wrote that now. And for me, the biggest problem is that I only can read. I can only read what they're writing. There's no like you can't communicate. You can't
Yeah,
ask them, okay, what
yeah,
exactly do you mean by
exactly.
that? What
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the exact point of your critic?
yeah.
All you can read is, for example, I don't know, why is shooting on X? I hate shooting on X. And then you're like, okay,
They're
but
not explaining their opinions.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What would be better for you? What
Yeah.
would be yeah, a better controller mapping maybe for the next time? Because maybe next time then I'll say, okay, I'll do it on B, and then you'll say, ah, I hate B too, and then I'm like, yeah, great.
Okay, tell me what to do instead of it. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
and
They're
that's
lazy
the
about
tough
giving
times.
opinions in a long version. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the tough times when you have yeah critics like that, and you're like, okay, but how can I do it better? And then you
Do
start
you think
thinking, and
like
then you, yeah.
these people could change for better of giving their opinions in a long version if there was a platform with which developers actually could communicate more with players or their fan base?
I mean, it of course it would sound like a great idea,
Okay.
but I have to say that
It would be time
I
consuming, I
yeah,
guess.
and
Yeah,
I don't think we can expect from players to really give that type of feedback.
I see. I see.
So I mean, it's rare even for me. It's rare to really write any reviews for a game on Steam that I played, even if I enjoyed it.
Do you think it's
Yeah.
because like it consumes a lot of time, or people just got lazy, or why is that?
Yeah, I think it's not the most fun part of playing games, reviewing those games in
Okay.
like in like text.
It would be
Maybe if
easier
they
if our
could.
mind could write it for the
Yeah,
first
right,
time,
right.
right? When we are
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you could just sit there and it would
Yeah.
happen
And
by
it's writing
itself.
to you from
Yeah.
your mind, your experience all
Yeah,
through
yeah.
playing the game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot more reviews happen, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're playing games to play games, not to review them,
Yeah.
most
True.
of us.
True.
So
But
yeah.
still, people hate on it. So hate on games. So
Yeah,
it's
right.
stupid, like right? It's easier to
Yeah.
hate and write a short comment that it sucks or I don't know.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah,
weird. It's weird. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so yeah, we discussed that. Okay. Uh, what are your future plans like as a team and also as a developers yourself? What is your future? Or what future can you see in front of you?
Right now I can see a lot of work on our next title.
Okay.
Yeah.
You cannot say
We're
anything, I guess.
right. I
Okay, okay,
cannot say anything right now, but we're already working on the next one.
okay.
And
Hopefully, we can talk
hopefully,
then after it has been
right.
released.
Hopefully we can talk about
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
And yeah, maybe some other projects after that, but that's future right now. But hopefully, yeah. For now, me and I think our company as well are pretty, um, yeah, satisfied with the current projects,
I
and
see. Okay,
hopefully it can go on like that.
okay. And besides of gaming and being a video game developer, what other hobbies do you have that you are passionate about?
I'm a bit of a passion hunter, I would say. I've
Okay,
way too less time for the many things I'd like to do.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so
Creative mastermind, we could say. Yeah.
kind of, yeah. I really like football or soccer.
Okay.
So I'm very
Watching,
passionate about that.
playing, or both?
Both
Both.
and
Okay.
even training. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Nice.
yeah, under 17 trainer right now
Oh,
at
okay.
a
Nice. 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 Nice.
local amateur club, and
Nice. Very nice.
yeah, and but I also like
Do you gain some
American football.
experiences from football that you can like use in programming or making a game? Do you feel like you had some experience in football that could help you develop as a person in the gaming industry?
I directly football specific stuff, I wouldn't say so, but which always helps is that,
As a coach, for
yeah,
example.
right, as a coach, that I
Okay.
have, even as a player, I have to communicate a lot.
Okay.
So
Okay. So it
that's
helps you, I guess, to
of
be more open-minded.
yeah, right. It
Okay.
helps to handle different yeah, opinions. It helps to communicate my own thoughts and my own opinions
I see.
in good ways and not bad ways. Um, so yeah, I'd say that that's a huge plus, of course, but I don't think it's soccer specific.
I
But
see. I see.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally
yeah,
get you. Yeah.
yeah.
And what other hobbies? Okay, you mentioned football.
Yeah, football. I like American football as well.
Okay.
Been to
Do
the
you play
games in
that
Germany
too,
last
or?
year. No, just
Okay,
watching,
okay,
just
just
watching.
watching. I see.
But a player of mine is plays American football too.
I see. And do you
So
collect cards as well, by any means?
no, not
Oh,
no.
okay. Are you planning to though? Or
Nah,
not
I
sure?
don't think so.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. Um, the American football I really like. Then I really enjoy racing, like Formula One is
Okay.
one thing that I also, yeah, follow a bit, and then the usual stuff like playing games, of course,
Okay.
and going outside and stuff like that. Yeah, so.
I see.
and a bit of ice hockey too.
Oh,
But
okay. So you're a
since
sports
I'm
fan, totally.
yes, well, since I moved to Würzburg, it's not present anymore because I
I see.
once lived in Stuttgart, and there was a team. It's called Bietigheim Steelers, and they were in the first Bundesliga a few years ago. Now they are like
I see.
third third year, so
They step back
they
a bit, you could say.
yeah, but yeah, that was a hobby of mine too. Yeah,
I see.
so many things, but less time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Were you thinking like combining the developing process and the sports passion or passion to sports, like into a game,
Yeah, I actually after
or with a fantasy
writing
themed sport game or something like that?
after writing my thesis, I actually applied at a football manager company. They
Oh,
made
okay,
what's it called? We Are Football is I think it's called. And yeah, unfortunately they didn't search anyone, and then I got offered job here at
I
Kritzelkratz,
see,
so
I see.
everything worked out. But yeah, I already thought about that too. And since programming own my own games, it's really hard to still, I wouldn't say hate, but criticize games like FIFA or EAFC or PES or stuff like that, because I now know how difficult it has to be to program that
I got your point.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when people say
So
that all the FIFAs are the same, they're not changing
yeah,
anything
right.
throughout the years. Yeah,
Yeah, right. And
yeah,
I mean, of course, there are not like 300 people working on new features and
yeah,
making it better, but even 50 people is having, I think, having a tough time getting really stuff out of there that, yeah, that maybe people wouldn't recognize as great features because, oh God, they have two new animations that have a new
yeah.
animation system,
You have
and
to be
they're
very
like, yeah,
passionate,
well,
I guess, about the franchise and football at all to realize the small features that are new to the game, I guess. Yeah,
yeah, right, and
yeah,
they can be pretty difficult because it's everything math. It's not the
yeah,
computer doesn't know anything. You have to tell him everything, even if it's just okay. Team red has the ball. How does he know that? Okay, of course, there's
yeah.
simple ways to do that, but getting more complex, there's way more
Yeah,
complex
and
ways to
players
calculate
who
stuff.
doesn't see behind the curtain of developing these games on a programmer side, they cannot understand how hard is it to manage to do those
Yeah,
games
right, right,
to
right.
make them work. Actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
and
right.
you mentioned also Souls games. So which one is was your favorite Souls game so far?
Speaking about only like, yeah,
From software, yeah. From software games.
yeah, from software games, probably it's a bit hard to tell because I played Sekiro during the lockdown,
Okay,
so I had a lot of time to play it, and
okay,
I know that I didn't have a lot of fun the first 5 hours or so because I was so bad at it. But then at one point it made click, and I had the greatest time of like all the Souls games,
I
and I
see.
felt like that great warrior, ninja warrior that just hammered through everything. And even in New Game Plus, I just played it through. I just smashed everyone because it.
Nice.
After that last boss fight, after I don't know, it was like 6, 7, 8 hours. I had to try this boss to beat him, but after that, everything felt so easy. So that was a really great experience. But on the other hand, I don't know if I think about it that way. If it was, yeah, if I would have played it in an, I'd say normal life. That's what happened with Elden Ring, and I really enjoyed that too. So maybe I'd say a bit more Sekiro because of the special game design and setting, but Elden Ring also has a special place, and I look forward to the DLC.
Yeah, it's coming
Yeah,
out
yeah,
like in 2 weeks, if I'm correct, or something like
yeah,
that. In June
something like that.
21st. Yeah, it's something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think so. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and you were telling me that you've been working on games at your university as well, and some of them has been released to Steam, right? Is that right? That's correct. And
yeah.
what are those games like? what you have to do in these games, what kind of games they are.
The game we released on Steam was just a variation of Pong.
Okay.
It's called Bounce Ball Neon Party Arcade.
Okay.
I
Is it
think.
like a multiplayer game?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's it's a adaptation of Pong, but with four players.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we wanted to make
Online
a
or
party game.
couch coop or both?
It theoretically it only has couch co-op,
Okay. Okay.
but with the Steam feature, the share with your friends, I think it's
Oh
called,
yeah, yeah.
or
You can
something
play
like that. Yeah,
online as
yeah, you
well.
can
Yeah.
you can play it online as well, and it works good. We already played it like that, so it works actually very well, which is a bit surprising, but yeah, it works. And it has like random arena elements and a lot of sliders to completely crank it up. So like playing with 8 balls or having random obstacles, different ball sizes, different ball speeds.
I
So
see.
that was a main part in the development to give the player the um, yeah the handle so they can um, yeah design the game how they want to play it, chaos mode or stuff like that. So in theory you can totally kill that game also with completely stupid rules and settings. But yeah, that's the game that we developed about 6 to 7 months or so,
Okay.
and we even got achievements. So it
Nice.
feels
Achievement
pretty
hunters
polished, I
can
have
go
to
for
say.
that game
Yeah,
then.
achievement hunter, and it's
Yeah.
and it's free. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
easy achievements, and or I don't know if the achievements are easy actually, but
Now we will realize that they are not even that easy. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But that's the game, and besides that, I only made a few small ones.
I
I
see.
think they're all on itch.io. We made one in a game jam, 48-hour game jam where you're a gardener and you have to kill all the rabbits because they won't stop eat your carrots, and
Okay.
it's it's how should I describe it? It's an mess, but it's a fun mess somehow. I don't know. The biggest problem as a developer is that you play the game so many times and you even develop it. I mean, I program it, I design it and stuff like that. I know all the twists and tweaks and
It's nothing
where
new
I
for
could.
you, I guess.
Right, yeah, and I know exactly what I have to do to win most of the times.
I see.
So um, balancing out a game as a developer is really, really hard when you have no one around that tries it out and tells you, okay, it's way too hard or way too easy. And that's what happened there. We got the game beaten in like 5 seconds because there was this one tactic that you could do and you beat it in 5 seconds. And then when we at the end of the jam, when we gave it to others, not one person got it beat it because it was so hard and they just
I
ran
see.
around behind those rabbits. And that was the point that kept the players going. And there was people that came to us, played it for 5 or 10 minutes, then went on to the next one, and after 20 minutes they came back and said, okay, I have to beat it. And that was the fun and crazy part about it, because that was not the intention, but it worked out somehow. So the people liked it. We weren't last place. I think we got like fifth place or something like
I
that.
see.
So it was yeah, quite fun.
But
Yeah.
at least they did not give up, so
Yeah, right, right. It
yeah.
it was not bad. It was just hard, and that's yeah,
I see.
what I really liked about it. And it also has a special place in my heart because I had to do the art,
Oh,
because
nice.
no
Okay.
other one had any idea about doing art for games.
Okay.
So I had to do it, and I'm not the very best at it. So I seriously slept like 4 hours or so at that weekend because I
Crunch,
had
crunch.
to yeah, crunch crunch, had to somehow get all these assets looking at least watchable
I see.
or lookable. And it's funny because I didn't like had a plan on how it should look,
I
but
see.
at the end it looks like a browser game from like 20 years ago.
You turned
And
out at the end.
yeah,
I
it
guess we could
really
say
feels
so.
like that, and
Yeah.
that's and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I like the art style," and I was like, "Yeah, great, I just did what I could."
You wasn't even planning to do this, but
Yeah,
it still worked
right.
out, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
that
But
was
it's good.
funny.
I mean, that what makes like the most beautiful part of it. Like even if you are not focusing on anything in a very strict way, it will work out. It will even surprise you as a developer
Yeah,
and as a
right. Yeah,
person that people really enjoying it, and you weren't planning to do like that
yeah,
way.
right.
Yeah. True. 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 Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we were discussing a lot of topics. I'm thinking of other questions. Okay. So yeah, we were talking about crunch. How do you feel about crunch in developing process as a developer?
Um, Brunch is always a hard topic, I'd say.
Okay.
Gladly we are here at Kritzelkratz. Maybe because we're a small team, maybe because our bosses are in this business for like 25 to 30 years. Um, Maybe because we're just too good. I don't know, but I don't think the last point
No,
it is.
you have to
No,
think that you are good. You cannot be. I mean, you can be shy, but you also have to believe in yourself.
yeah,
So
that's true.
you
Yeah.
can't say that you're
Um,
bad. Like you won't be able
Nah,
to
no,
develop anything if you're saying you're bad. You know.
that's right. That's right. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we're bad, but it's just yeah, we didn't have real crunch
Okay.
at in the development process of Rainbow Cotton. I mean,
Okay.
of course, there are some days that you have to do a bit more because you have to uh, put what's it called? Give in the beta or something like
I
that.
see.
Or one time there was a problem with the PS4 version, and I built that, so I had to come here on a normal free day. Normally, I wouldn't have worked that day, and yeah, had to fix that and rebuild that.
I
But
see.
that's nothing like yeah, something we hear in
A
the
strict
industry where
thing. Yeah.
yeah
I see.
where you have to like work for like months, uh, 70 hours a week or stuff like
I
that. So
see. I see.
I already got that time back that I had to get there on a free day. So
I see.
yeah, not unfortunately, but fortunately, we don't have that type of problems here. But yeah, from what I've been hearing, what I've been experiencing, it's yeah, it's a huge problem, of course, in the industry. But I wouldn't say it's just in the game industry. I also have friends in other types of industries, and they also say yeah, sometimes stuff has to be finished and then they have to get there
Yeah, but it's
more or
interesting that
longer.
I
Yeah.
was speaking to the developers of Bionicle Masks of Power, and they said that crunch is an important thing in gaming industry. Like it could also work in a way like for people that they will develop a better themselves to be able to finish the game, and I totally agree with that point too. Like it has to be someone in the middle, but I think like when you are, you know that you have to release your game and at a strict date, then you will be like more of a, pushing yourself to your limits in order to, be able to like uh, experiment with all those things that you are working on and to fix for a full polished game. And that brings me another question, that how do you feel about like online patches? Because like till the mids of PlayStation 3 era and Xbox 360 era, we did not have online patches, but at the late of that era, with players had the experience or had to experience that a lot of developers and nowadays almost everyone has online patches. How do you feel about that? Like, did the online patches like get most of the developers lazy in a way because of that they can push out the time frame of releasing a patch and not uh, have the
I
game
wouldn't.
polished
Yeah,
like at
yeah,
the PS1
I
era,
know
for
what you
example,
mean.
or PS2 era, where you couldn't do that. Like you couldn't just send a new disc to the players, that okay,
Yeah,
here's your
right.
fix. Like
Yes, Actually, there was one game where they had to do that, but I think it was for the Wii. There was a
Yeah,
game-breaking bug
there were
it
not
was
many games, but yeah, there were some
there
games.
was
Yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah,
yeah.
especially
Um,
Nintendo, because they were always like very strict about their game plan. Like
yeah,
they are the
right.
ones who I think who are like publishing and making the most polished games because they are focusing
It
on being very polished, like without bugs.
I think
Yeah,
it was even Zelda. I think it was
really?
Zelda,
Okay,
probably Twilight Princess, because there was this one bug where you like have to speak to different goddess or something like
okay.
that. And if you spoke to them in the wrong order and made the quest for them in the wrong order, then you were stuck because a
So it
flag
crashed the
wasn't
game.
set
Okay,
correctly. So you had to completely start a new game because it autosaved, and
okay,
then but you could somehow send them your disk or stuff like that, and then
okay.
they fixed it for you. I don't exactly know that, but yeah,
Nice.
it's
So it
actually
happened.
Nintendo. Well, yeah, made it once at least.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't say it made them lazy. I would say it. I think right now it's more of a problem, I think, than of a helper
I
because
see.
um, maybe not for indie developers because indie
Okay.
developers most of the time somehow have their own planning and their own campaign and hopefully
I think
have
it's because like they cannot let themselves to publish an unpolished game because if
yeah,
even if
right,
for example if it's the first game of theirs, then they cannot let the people play an
risk that.
unpolished, yeah, an
Yeah,
unpolished
right,
game.
right.
So that would be a very like like profile for them.
Profile, yeah,
Yeah,
right. That's why I wouldn't say that the developers, the at least the indie developers got lazy or stuff like that. I think for them or even for us, it can be a great help because we don't have the capacity to test like big companies or even like bigger companies. But we're like 8 people with internships. We're 10. Even with some external testing, there isn't nearly as much playtime as when we release a game and like hundreds or thousands of people play that.
yeah,
So new bugs will automatically be found because you can't. There's no perfect game. There's no perfect software. So
yeah. True, true, true.
for that, online patches is great. But I think especially for bigger companies, it's more pain than blessing because I think they push the release dates so much earlier because of that, and then say,
Yeah,
yeah, then
true.
just patch it,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
and then you have to patch it in a few days, so the developers have to crunch even more because the patch doesn't have time to be released in 4 weeks. It has to be done in 2 weeks, but it has to fix 2,000 bucks, and if it doesn't fix them, then you don't get money from the publisher or stuff like that. So I think for the big companies, the online patches are or for the developers are more pain than blessing
I see.
right now. At least that's my feeling. I don't have any insights, but that's my feeling. But I think for indie developers, it's more a chance because most of the time, at least, indie developers care about their games and they really want that those games are good games and that they work and are not like a soulless product that hopefully just sells well and that's
I mean,
it.
I think it's true for bigger companies as well. It's just like sometimes when it's like the publisher who wants like to have a cash cow out of a game or a franchise, they make the developers go into
Yeah,
things
right,
like
right.
they would not want to, in my opinion
Yeah,
at
right.
least, because we saw a lot of developers who changed their publisher, or they went out or got fired from a publisher and they went indie, that they started to focus on more quality games. So I
Yeah,
feel like
right.
it's
And
rather
yeah.
than a problem of like having publishers who are like very money oriented and like like skipping all the creativeness of people, and they are going, and I feel like the gaming industry has changed for a worse in a way like big companies are going for like very safe game, we could say.
Mhm.
Like they are afraid to experiment, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
right.
And
Yeah, they
even
used
if
a
they
certain
do that,
mechanics.
they are not bringing topics like would be that important. I mean, there are some, like we were discussing, Naughty Dog like made The Last of Us, which brought to the table very important topics about our everyday life. But come on, there are a lot of games who are like afraid to do that, and they still have those topics in them in the story, but they are afraid to, just give the player in the face that, okay, this happens, this also is happening in our everyday life. Just you have to be open-minded about that topic. And I think that since yeah, we discussed Last of Us, it got a lot of hate from people because developers were brave enough to actually put those topics into the game. And
Yeah, right.
yeah, that brings us or bring sorry not us me the last question. So how do you feel about hate of players? We were discussing a small topic of that, but what do you think, like how it all started, why people start to hate on games for no reason? So what's the idea behind those hateful speeches, and how could we change the industry as for players for better understanding of that there are actual human beings who are making these games, and we should appreciate the decisions of developers? How could it be changed for a better?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I think a big problem with many industries that have, or with the entertainment industry,
Okay.
I'd say, is that often people think that they own something.
Okay.
Like if a musician changes even a bit their
Okay.
genre, or they get hate. If
I see.
companies make games and they're not like the other game before, or turn out different than the player expected it to be, they always think they own the right to know how the game should have been or should be, and that somehow brings out people that yeah, just turn into hating yeah, beings, and start hating and maybe even threatening
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if we're talking about Last of
Yeah,
Us,
there were
in,
examples.
in, in
Yeah,
that case,
that.
Last of
Yeah.
Us 2, many people said yeah, they thought they own the story. They thought they own the
Yeah,
character, and they
true.
have the right that the character is surviving because it's theirs, and they want that to
Yeah,
be. They
they
can't
were so
accept.
obsessed with the character, which is not bad in my opinion. But you just, I mean, you have, like you were saying, we as a player have to appreciate the own choices of a developer.
Yeah,
Like
right.
they are
Yeah,
making games for us. It's not us who are making games as a player. So, and
right.
a
And
lot of people are forgetting it. Like,
yeah, and even if it sounds a bit selfish, but many developers even do the games for themselves. So
true, true. It's a
it's not
reflection
like.
of their own life. I mean,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
And it's stuff they wanna achieve. It's stuff they want to show the
It's
world.
like a
It's not
story
like.
and a message to tell the
Right,
players.
yeah,
Yes,
right. And
yes.
and they want to give you a feeling that maybe they want to feel, and
And
they
they
want
could
you to feel that
reflect
too.
from their own stories, and they could connect to the developers' stories. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Right.
yeah,
And also that's something that I don't know correct directly how, but if we could somehow get people to understand and
okay.
recognize that, like a musician that sings about their heartbreak or their, I don't know, problems in
It
life.
actually happened to
Um,
him. It's just that
right,
he was writing
right.
this, and but it never happened to him. Yeah,
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 right.
exactly.
Like that, also developers have ideas and
Yeah,
make games and make mechanics and design decisions that somehow reflect what they feel and
yeah.
reflect what they maybe want to feel. And maybe if people could more understand that, there wouldn't be that much
Okay.
hate, or even just yeah, senseless negative reviews on stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, not not being too harsh, but seeing going to Steam and seeing reviews that have like over 100 hours of game time, and they're like negative. I don't know,
But they
played
still
it
play the
for
game, but they
yeah
say it
right,
sucks. Like it
yeah
doesn't make
right.
sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Playing a
yeah,
game
true,
over
true,
100 hours and then saying, ah, no,
true.
that's not a good game. Then
Yeah,
I'm
why do you
asking
play it
myself,
then?
okay, yeah,
And
why are
they
you
cannot
playing a
explain it.
game?
They are just saying, "Okay, I bought it, so I have to play it." No, you don't have to play it.
No, you don't
Come
have
on,
to.
you
So,
play. You should play your own game which you like, and
yeah,
don't have
right.
to hate on it. Yeah, true, true.
Yeah, and that's what I do not understand. If I don't like a game, sometimes I refund it when I'm under 2 hours, and
Yeah,
sometimes I'm just okay. I didn't like it. It's okay. Maybe it wasn't for me.
yeah,
And that's maybe sometimes I even write a review and tell why it's not for me.
yeah,
But having this hate and this yeah unconstructive reviews that just yeah doesn't even me as a player that maybe wants to play this game, and then I'm reading a review that just says I don't know, what a messy game and I hate it and I hope the developers don't ever make a game again. Then I don't know what this means. Why does he like this game? It doesn't bring anything to the developer. It doesn't deliver a message
yeah.
to me
I
as a
mean, it
person that
delivers,
reads it.
but it's a hateful message what
Yeah,
it
it's a hateful
delivers,
message.
and
Yeah,
also
yeah, of
they
course.
forget that, in my opinion, that they can harm and harsh the developers, that they will have a
Yeah, right.
depressive life. I met some developers around my career on Twitch and this dev live show of mine that were messaging me about their very stressful life and depressive life. That they were saying they got so many hate from people by their own decision of making their game, that they couldn't handle it. So and
Yeah.
it's very bad to hear these stories actually, because like they are playing with others people life,
Yeah,
just
right.
commenting stuff, just writing, and they are not realizing that it's powerful. Like they can just make a developer end his life, because that happened sometimes
Yeah, right.
in the gaming
Right.
industry as well, and it sucks. Like it's a very, very bad thing, and I think that people should be able to understand, like you were saying, that they had to be more thoughtful about their opinions and more constructive. They should learn that in school, but yeah, it seems that they are not learning that anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not sure what's happening in schools nowadays, but yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so we have discussed a lot of topics. Do you still have a little bit time to answer some questions if there is on the
Yeah, of
chat?
course.
Okay,
Yes. Let's go.
so yeah, everyone. So any questions on the stream, on the chat? Feel free to ask anything. If you have any questions, I hope lurkers are listening too. So let me know. Let me know if there is any question in the chat. Let me know. Please let me know. Please let me know if there is any question. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. We'll wait like for some minutes. And if there isn't, then we will end. By the way, I have one. I have one. I was thinking of one when we are, or at least we are waiting for others to ask something. So we were talking about like you wanting others to test your game as well when you're uh, not sure if it's hard enough for them or easy enough. So were there times where your relatives or parents or family were allowed to test Rainbow Cotton, or how does it work as a developer? So can relatives, family members, parents test your game?
In theory, yes.
Okay.
In theory, we could, yeah, arrange test
Okay.
sessions
Okay. Okay.
with like anyone we want.
Okay.
The question is if it's really helpful for us, because if they are
Not
not even
gamers.
near the,
Mhm.
yeah, if they're not gamers, it's mostly senseless, but
I see.
at least for us. But even though if they're gamers, one thing I've learned from the bounce ball project was that I took that to some friends and we played it there, and they weren't even they weren't recognizing and realizing how much effort it is and how much time games cost, and yeah, that it was still a beta that didn't work like a polished game. So um, there was not that type of feedback we needed and
I
we
see.
wanted,
I
and
see.
there was more feedback like, yeah, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, there's a bug, and I know that stuff doesn't work, we're still in
Yeah.
development. I want to
Yeah.
know if it makes fun that the ball does
I see.
a, I don't know,
Yeah.
20% angle U-turn or stuff like that, and that was tough to, yeah, get out of them to really have feedback that works.
I see.
And that's why we in our company also don't give like test versions to family members or stuff like that.
I see.
Also, yeah, also because normally they don't tell you, okay, that sucks. Mostly of the time they're like, oh, that's great, and not
Yeah.
like, okay, that sucks.
They don't want to hurt you or everyone
Yeah,
else.
right.
Yeah, in the room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I got you. I got you. Yeah,
Yeah, that's yeah.
yeah.
At least for us, we uh, like before every milestone release, like beta or pre-beta or
Okay.
stuff like that, we always test a lot
Okay.
and really try to play through the game without our little cheaty helpings like invincibility or
I
stuff
see.
like that, to really see how it would feel to play it. And for Rainbow Cotton, we even wrote a small, yeah, it wasn't a real AI. It was more like a bot that simulated some yeah, inputs. But at least we had some playtime with that, turning it on, going home for the weekend, and that Monday morning we could see, okay, did the game crash or does it still run? So that's how we, um, yeah, have a pretty stable game that doesn't crash every
I see.
5 minutes.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay. It's very interesting that you were talking about bugs that like I think that not going too long version into it because I know you have less time, but I feel like most not saying most, but a lot of people are too much into searching for these bugs, and if they find any bug in any game, then they will be very harsh and very like hyped about it. Oh, I found a bug. Such a bad game, and come on, like it's okay. It's a bug. We are humans. We are not totally perfect, right? Like we cannot make a perfection of ourselves. We have to develop ourselves. That's why we are called developers if we are making
Yeah, right.
games. So and I feel like I'm always saying this due to this topic that it was very interesting to see the developers and the process behind some Cyberpunk when the game has been released. A lot of people hated it, and when Netflix had the show, after so many years of hate, people actually started to love the game. And the
Yeah,
game wasn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
polished by that time. And it
Yeah,
was
right.
like, come on, why do you like suddenly love the game and it's still not that polished? Why do you suddenly love the game? And for me, it was very interesting to see that because like I played the Witcher series as well from CD Projekt Red, and there were so many bugs, but I still love the game. And it's interesting to see that Witcher 3 did not get any that of much of a hate like their next game, Cyberpunk. And it's very interesting to see that
Yeah,
like
right. Yeah.
players opinions and giving opinions about bugs has grown out to like hype up the bug situation in a game. Like even it's a small bug, like I don't know, you dropped your sword and it disappeared forever, but it never happened again, then okay, it's not that bad. Okay, you get a new sword or get over with it. Okay, type the developers get a new sword or something like that, but you don't have to put your hates on Twitter and everywhere. So it's in my opinion, it's very weird from people. I don't blame them. Don't get me wrong. So everyone has their own opinion. It's just like we were discussing. You can make very stressful times with your opinion like that as a player. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, right. Also, bugs are a mythical topic, I'd say,
yeah,
because most of the time bugs get in games or in software after you you wrote something and you made something and then it
yeah.
works. And then you have most of the time not that much bugs. But game development is a huge agile development process. There isn't like you don't sit down and say, okay, I'm developing this game now with that mechanic, and then it turns out like this. No, it's always like, okay, let's do that. After 2 months, you say, oh, maybe we can do it that way. After 3 more months, you say, oh, maybe we change that in that direction. Then you give it to some testers, and then they say, yeah, maybe you could do that and that, and then you put that in, and then you have from
And
the
there are some
beginning
small
one where
ghosts
you have
coming
like,
out, and they are the
yeah,
bugs,
right, right.
right?
It's
You're
yeah,
solving
right.
mysteries like in Scooby Doo. Okay, there is a bug. We have to find it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Because
yeah,
then you're putting stuff on it, on it, on it, and then at the end you have like this big block of software that has
yeah.
so many niches and edges that you didn't even think about in the beginning because you didn't even know that stuff
It
like that
got
would
really
be there in
messy,
the end.
especially with the
Yeah,
code
yeah,
part. Yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
and in the end, that's how bugs get in there because you don't.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll quickly change. I don't know that button, and then you see, oh shit, I used that button for the other UI as well, and now there is a bug because it doesn't look anymore like it should, and that's that. This is how often how bugs occur because you develop stuff on the fly in an agile environment
You just
and
don't do that from 1 to 2. Just like this.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
And that's how you see like a game like Cyberpunk got released way too early, or I think it was Assassin's Creed Unity 10 years ago,
yeah. There were a lot of
because
games actually that has
yeah,
been released unpolished. But as for me, I think that like I'm a guy, I'm the player who appreciate the games with bugs too, because I feel like people, like we are discussing it, like people are too harsh about bugs. Like I mean, I get it, like if you pay an amount of your money that you were working for, you want a polished game, but still you have to understand the process behind it that you were talking about now.
yeah, right,
And
and
I think
yeah,
that that's the real problem, that people like not realizing, like it's in everything. Like even if you make a bread or make some food at the restaurant, you can mess up something because, I don't know, you have a bad day at work at that moment, and it influence your whole craft. And it's not like you just making a bread for today, but the game is like a whole process of years, like
yeah,
it's
right,
not just
yeah,
1 day or 1 week or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, and
it's
even one
years.
week, one bad week can even be fundamental to
Yeah,
have more bugs
or you
after
just
that
haven't
in it.
slept
Yeah,
enough, and
it's
that can mess your
yeah,
whole
or like
thing.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it can happen very fast, and I mean, yeah, normally you should. That's why you should have enough time to polish it
yeah,
and
to
check
test
it,
it.
and
Yeah,
yeah, maybe refactor some things to be more, um, yeah, I don't know the word, but to endurance and not break that easy.
yeah,
But yeah, it's always easier to tell, okay, there's a bug and that doesn't work than to really, yeah, fix that, fix that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there should be a course, in my opinion, that those who hate on bugs, they should learn how to program that game,
yeah,
and they might understand the process behind it. Then, okay, let's do it. Let's help me find the
that's
bug. Let's help me
yeah,
fix this. I will teach you how to do that, but just help me, okay? And they
yeah.
might will understand the process behind it. Yeah, that could work. That could be a future project of us with all the
I mean,
developers.
on some games it is like that. That's the funny part. Cyberpunk got hated for the many bugs, but what was it
Oh
called?
yeah, they had like some
Starfield or what?
community thing, like
Yeah,
they
and
could
every
help them.
Bethesda game releases with tons
Yeah,
of bugs, but the community of those games is like, okay, now I'll fix that. And I think there are still bugs in Skyrim that even after 20 versions are only fixed when you have community patches. So it's
Yeah.
it's really fascinating how
Yeah,
different
but at
communities
least
react
they
to
do help and
those
not
games.
that
Yeah, right.
much of a hate experience. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right,
Yeah, yeah,
right. Yeah.
it's more likable, yeah, to see that in a good way. Yeah. Okay, I'm very honored, like I said, with you being here on my show, and I hope that we will meet again with your new
Hope so
game.
too. Yeah.
I cannot wait what it will be and when it will be, when we have some informations. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all your experiences, thoughts, and ideas of being a developer and also a player and passionate about football. Thank you so much for your time and your day. And yeah, have a great rest of your night. And I hope to see you later. And yeah, everyone on the stream, thank you. Hopefully, we will get some questions for the community next time. I think that we had a lot of lurkers today. I guess we could say so. It's Monday night. I would say earlier night time, almost yeah half past 8. But yeah,
8:30,
this
yeah.
time people are usually up to bed or to chill. So yeah, thank you again. Thanks everyone. I will shut down the stream, and yeah, thank you everyone. Bye bye on the stream. Bye bye.